We had a little technical difficulty in the beginning. 2 minutes in, the audio gets back to normal. Sorry.
I'm Zach Moss.
And I'm AJ Fenney.
And this is
Hippie?
Not Hippie.
Good morning, evening, afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 55 of Hippie, Not Hippie. Yeah! I'm sure at least a handful of people listening to this are very confused in Episode 2 of how we're titling these episodes.
You know what? Let's just go with the number. It's episode 55. Fuck these seasons. I don't know. It fucked me up when Spotify's like season. I'm like, every year's a season, right? But then, you know, every fall, spring, summer, winter's a season too. So, you know, this is too complicated. But everybody, now that we're through that, I'd like to, we have a special guest today. One of my favorite comics from here in Denver, a good buddy of mine. He was just on the Tonight Show. Make some noise for Derrick Stroup, everybody!
Hey, how y'all doing?
Good, buddy. Thanks for coming out.
Thanks for having me, man. Couldn't be more excited to talk to two people than AJ and Zach, so I'm excited.
Yeah. It's fun. I think I met you, Derrick, for the first time. We went and did the Aspen run a long time ago, right?
Yeah. I quickly learned a lot about you. We stopped at several crystal shops, and I think we just laid in some grass. We just laid in some grass for a little bit. I learned a lot.
I remember hanging out near that weird gazebo thing in Carbondale, and we were like, "Why don't we have a hotel today?"
That's so funny. Laying in the grass. They don't have one hotel around here. That's so good.
They're like, during the day, the town has a great gazebo.
Yeah.
No, we were right by the gazebo. Yeah.
That's where you hide from the sun.
So, nice. So you went to Aspen, you stopped at a few crystal shops with AJ. Did you make any purchases in these shops, Derrick?
I might have. I was pretty new to the whole thing, and AJ is so influential with that stuff because, he's already glowing and he's excited and he's telling you what all these crystals can do. And it's like, some of the best teachers you had growing up were the ones excited what they were talking about. That's AJ in a rock shop. So he was so fired up that I was like, I'm fired up too. So I think I bought like a little good luck like stone or something. And I've been on a heater since, so there must be something to it.
So do you think that these crystals maybe have some powers?
I don't know. I've never dipped into it. I know the people that like these crystals are happier. Yeah. It's kind of like the Amish. Like, do I think that their life's so much better without the internet? No, but they look happy. Same thing.
Really? You would say that? Because whenever I see the Amish on the buggy, they look like... they're stern. I don't...
Pretty stoic faces, but I working with John Christ, I do a lot of Amish places.
Really?
And, yeah, man. Shipshewana, Indiana, just a unbelievable town. It's a tourist town, essentially, for the Amish. Only Amish live there, but they love when people come visit. They have a little place there where they put on live events, and the food was unbelievable.
When you say a tourist event, like a tourist for Amish, this is people coming to see what the Amish environment is like?
It's an Amish town that is welcoming visitors, welcoming, people that aren't Amish, essentially.
Wow, that's unique.
Yeah, because they got buggy rides and they got different things going on, and they are. Overall, their anxiety is way less than ours. They have no idea the world's on fire. Yeah. They know that if Eli doesn't build this bed quicker, they're not going to have enough money. It's a different life.
Yeah. Well, and then I'm like, they put on events for people. They're like, come watch the barn raising, the butter making, and the what are the? Did you go see any Amish events?
Right across the street, I would call it an Amish event. Was like a cattle sale. which I think to them is like as close to gambling as they get. I went. I mean, there's such a unique culture, but I really feel like they live in a happier, mindset. They don't understand anything that's going outside of their bubble, which doesn't seem like the worst sometimes. They missed out on some good TV, but
Yeah.
Did you you said their food, right? The food's
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Not just the pastries, which they're known for. Like, they're known for their baking goods, but there was fried chicken and all the sides and all this. I mean, it was, put Cracker Barrel to shame.
So it was like Southern style food.
Yeah, it was.
In Indiana.
I tell people it's hard for Southern food and Midwestern food walk a fine line together. I mean, Southern food may have a little bit more salt, but when I tell people in the
That fine line is called a casserole.
yeah, there you go. That's exactly right.
There's just a casserole separating that line between the Midwest and
That
the
is
South.
perfect. Yeah, because it's similar. The food's not that far apart in a lot of ways. A lot of comfort food, but yeah, Shipshewanah's a super cool place for sure.
Wow.
That was Brett's catchphrase when we were working the Midwest. His catchphrase was, "Put that in your casserole."
Talk about a great T-shirt. That's great.
But the South always seemed more like it's the home of grits.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? How do you have your grits?
The way that they hate it.
Yeah, instant?
I like it with butter and sugar. And they
Okay.
act like if you put sugar on your grits, that you just came out or something. And like I like sugar on everything. I can't help. I mean, my feet are falling asleep right now. But grits are super popular. Grits and shrimp, shrimp and grits. But I'm more of a fried potato guy if I had a choice of a side. But yeah, grits are popular.
Were you a savory or? So you're kind of walking the line between it. You'd rather have a sweet grit as opposed to a savory grit.
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. I would rather my main plate to be all savory and then, ideally have some French toast on the side.
It just always reminds me of my cousin Vinny, where he's got the guy on the stand. He goes, "So, do you eat grits?" And he goes, "I sure do." And he goes, "Instant grits or?" And he goes, "No respectable Southern man would eat a instant grit."
That's right. And I guess I'm not one because I'll eat the hell out of some instant grits. I eat anything that says instant in front of it. I love that. I love that it's so quick.
Yeah.
So, have you ever tried to go vegetarian or vegan for a period of time, Derrick?
Yeah, Zach. The 15 minutes before my entree came out and my salad, that 15 minutes. No, I haven't. I mean, I'm actually, that's so funny, like flirting with going the opposite direction, which would be like more meat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The John Wayne diet, or
Yes, I mean, not the all carnivore diet, but I've tried a few different things. I do love vegetables, but when I eat more meat, which some people hate to hear this, I seem to feel better personally.
Yeah.
It's just my body seems to run a little bit cleaner on that. But a balanced diet for me because I do love vegetables so much. I mean, the vegetables I love are not the ones you should love. I mean, like potatoes.
Yeah.
Green beans. That sort of thing.
I love green bean casserole growing up was one of my favorite things.
yeah. Well, and potatoes aren't actually a vegetable; they're a dirt fruit.
Oh, okay.
Dirt fruit sounds like the name of a great band.
It does. Oh my gosh.
I would listen to Dirt Fruit.
Oh man, that is a great name for a band. And I would like to think they're dirt fruits too. But yeah, I mean, I like it all really. Like okra, cabbage, spinach, collard greens. I eat all of that type of stuff.
I don't know that I've ever had a collard green.
Oh, they're great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever had one.
Yeah, I'm big fan of some collard greens. But I mean, that's something that I do miss out here. Is I feel like it's harder to find like what we would call where I'm from a meat and three.
A meat and three?
A meat and three, which is going to be a place where
Meat and 3 sides, I'm guessing.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And it'll be on special. It's lights out. It'll be like $8.99, and you'll have like 3 or 4 options from your meat, and then you'll have probably 6 to 7 options on your sides, and you do a meat and 3, and it's usually kind of more of a country type setting.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've been through Springfield, right? Have you ever?
Yeah.
You ever been to Lambert's Throwed Rolls?
Oh, I love Lambert's.
Yeah.
I mean, Lambert's, what's so funny is I think the people that live in Springfield think that they're the only ones with the Lambert's, and then the people down in South Alabama They thought they were because I'd never heard of another Lambert's. There's one.
Oh wait, there is one in Alabama.
Foley, Alabama is the only one I've ever been to. I've been there 3 or 4 times, but it's right outside of Gulf Shores.
Okay.
So then when I heard that Springfield had one outside of there, it blew my mind. But home of the throwed rolls, man.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Wow, I did not realize that they had them in Alabama.
We're both living in different places thinking, no place has this.
Yeah.
I can tell you. And
We used to go there and just try to stack plates.
Oh.
Like, that was the whole thing. And they go, you want me to take those? And I go, no, these are my wins. Like, these are my medals right now.
Zach, do you know what place we're talking about?
I do not.
Okay.
You've not been to Lambert's?
Dude,
No.
they come
Okay.
around like the sides.
Lambert's?
Like if you want more of whatever, say you got green beans and you want more green beans, they come around with the pot of green beans and a spoon.
Yeah.
And they're like, you want some more? And they put it right on your plate,
Yeah, they
Zach.
just dish it out.
Just while you're sitting there. Yeah, and then like these guys are throwing hot
Just
rolls.
warmed by a grandma's bosom.
Yeah.
You can only hope. I hope it's a black grandmother if we're lucky. But yeah, man. And then you got these like 19-year-olds slinging rolls through the damn restaurant. I mean, sometimes from
Yeah.
AJ, sometimes across the restaurant.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's better than Dave and
they're-
Buster's.
So
I've never-
and you just like you got to catch the roll.
You catch the
and
roll.
if you're bad, if it goes flying, they're like roll down or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, they say exactly that. You get it.
Or in
immediately.
Alabama, they probably are like roll tide.
I'm sure that joke is I guarantee you.
So all right. So what are your go-to 3 sides on a meat and 3?
I love that question so much. I can't even tell you. Yeah, I feel like you have to go. I'm going to go mashed potatoes and gravy. I'm going to probably go
Because
with,
you get 2 for 1 on that one. You get the gravy and the mashed potatoes.
I feel like that. And then if they have pinto beans, I love like some good stewed pinto beans with raw onion on it.
Okay.
And then
So they're not baked or barbecued beans.
No.
They're okay.
They're just like, set in a pot all day long with, like some hog meat inside of it.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
you eat it with cornbred and
just
raw
like pork
onion.
and pork and
Oh,
beans.
it's like a ham and bean soup.
Ham and beans, essentially,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so I would go mashed potatoes and gravy, the beans with the raw onion and the cornbread, and then this is where the third side would tear me to pieces.
Does the ham and beans and cornbread come as one
yeah,
side?
I like how a lot of your sides are
Oh, come on! No. That's very important. Cornbread is not a side. Cornbread is an accessory. There is no way that counts as just a side. That's crazy. If that does, then Cracker Barrel thinks I'm nuts because I'm getting 7 sides. Yeah, and I would say my last one would probably be, in that situation, I would say either the green beans or the fried okra.
Yeah.
But the meat and 3, I don't quite have the 3 sides in my holster like I do for like a barbecue joint.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
if I'm going to a barbecue joint, it's baked beans and potato salad are the sides, in my opinion,
Yeah.
for like a classic barbecue plate.
Gotcha.
But with the meat and 3, I might even do dumplings one day. I could really be versatile on that.
Mustard in your potato salad?
Say it again.
Mustard in your potato salad?
I like both.
Yeah?
I like,
Celery.
I don't know. We don't have to have that.
Yeah, I don't understand the fucking raw celery and
So the
potato
thing about the
salad.
celery, I can do it. It's a texture thing. So
Yeah.
it just gives you a crunch. That's it.
Yeah, it's like fucking water card. It's that and bamboo shoots, man. I don't like the texture.
Oh.
I love a cooked celery.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this conversation is particularly tough for me because like I'm a sides guy.
Yeah.
Like the main course, like that brisket's great and I am excited about it. But I do want, like, if I could in a perfect world, I'd want like 5 sides.
Oh, I mean, I've gone to places and just that have like a sides flight.
Yeah, see.
And then I'm just like, I'll just do the sides flight. Give me all the sides.
You know where
and,
you can go to do that is Golden Corral. You can go to a
Yeah.
buffet and just side it up.
Yeah, but I feel out of place. Like I'm the only person not riding a rascal.
Yeah.
And it just, I'm like, I need to get one,
Yeah.
if I'm coming here. But no,
So, with your
Usually
meat
you can steal one from the Walmart next door.
Now with your meat and 3, Derrick, what was your meat?
in my mind, I'd already kind of pictured probably like a slice of roast beef because they'll have that's usually one of the sides that'll have gravy as well. But it's kind of that tender roast beef slice that's like, I don't really know how to, probably about 1.5 inches thick, something like that. Or I would go with just the classic. I mean, I think everybody in the world, I love fried chicken.
Yeah.
And I'd put a little Louisiana on that and we'd do that.
Hell yeah. So while you're eating this meal, are you listening to any jam bands?
Yeah, well, got to have a little goose when you're doing that,
Whoa! Oh, the name.
Yeah.
I love the fact that you knew Goose's name.
Yeah. Well,
It's hard to get away from it right now.
it is. They are absolutely blowing up. I mean, I had an Uber driver bring up Goose and talk about him our whole ride. I didn't ask one question. He
Wait,
just
was
told
that
me
here in
all about-
Denver?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and so this is just a great place for music. You can accidentally bump into music around here. So
Yeah. I would have loved it more if you were in Birmingham, Alabama, and they're like, hey, you getting into Goose?
Yeah, now that's somebody who's plugged in.
Right.
So is Goose local?
Goose is essentially what everyone believes is
Or
going
do
to be.
they do they fly south every year?
No, Goose is yeah,
They're like the next.
yeah. Goose is going to be the next dead or whatever the next fish. Like they are. I mean, they're popping off. You can hear them on the radio. Everyone's losing their mind over it now.
Whoa! So a jam band that is radio playable?
Well, I mean,
Because Fish has never had a song on the radio.
not
have they?
correct. They have the Farmhouse album definitely had a couple of tracks that
not
hit.
college radio.
No, regular radio. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that is a long. I mean, they're like, "Welcome back." Sorry about that 17-minute song. There we were back here.
Yeah, you're all the way home now. We know you left work when we started, and now you're home. We call that our ad-free drive home song.
This is going to get you all the way through rush hour.
So
45-minute Dark Star.
Now, I will say, I have to defend some of my friends because I feel like widespread panic, particularly, and they might be big everywhere, but in Alabama, they're huge.
Well, that's because they came from Georgia.
Okay, see, that checks out because, I know lots and lots of friends way back in the 20 years ago in college, going to Birmingham, Orange Beach, all those different places, huge widespread Panic fans, and also some other jam band. I mean, Fish was popular with a lot of my friends as well, but there's definitely some jam band fans down there.
yeah, the
Panic
South likes jam music a lot.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'd say more than the Midwest.
Yeah,
for sure.
I would agree because they're closer to that, and y'all probably talked about it on here, but just that kind of country, culture is close to hippie. It's they walk a similar line in some ways.
Yeah, barefoot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they just, they both want to play in a creek. They just vote different.
Yeah. Well, you're also down there. I mean, the Allman Brothers was a Southern band.
Oh, I'm a big fan of the Allman Brothers. Everybody is down there. You're right.
Yeah. And I mean, that was, what was it? Famous Eat a Peach? And that's what Georgia, like the Georgia Peach, right?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with going to the country, gonna eat a lot of peaches.
Yeah.
It was confused
Was
with
that what you were humming?
Identical to what I was humming.
But
So easily confused.
But in your defense, anything that you go, that could be any jam band.
AJ was like, "Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I'm sure I could find that tune.
That's in the catalog." That's so funny.
Yeah, it'd be fun. AI eventually will be able to be like, sync up what Derrick just hummed with what jam band it is, and I'll be like, too many results melting down.
Almond Goose.
Almond Goose. Yeah, no, the Allman Brothers particularly. I mean, like people in Alabama, I can just remember growing up, they'd be like, "You see that little biscuit joint? Greg Allman ate there one morning."
yeah.
We'd all look out the window, and I remember being like, "All right,
You'd
Dad,
imagine him
try to
going
give a
in.
shit." Yeah.
Well, it was also like, I feel like the Allman Brothers and Leonard Skinner had a similar type of, where it was just constantly getting drunk and they were fighting all the time and there were fist fights. And it was like, I remember my dad talking about stuff like that when I was a kid.
For
that
sure.
just seemed what rock music was.
Yeah, gosh, what's the San Francisco rock band that was always fighting? We'll move on.
Was it the Eagles?
No, it was like there's this movie Dig that was about them and the Brian Jonestown.
It was the Brian Jonestown massacre, and the Dandy Warhols. I thought it was Oregon, right? Portland? Were they both out of Portland? Because that's where the Dandy Warhols are from.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Brian Jones was out of San Francisco, and then they would tour the North.
That guy, Anton Newcomb, is a fucking lunatic. Like he was just that. There's a period in this documentary where like he kind of got off the rails again and was back on heroin. And I just remember somebody in the documentary going, "Oh, you're talking about the kitties on the face point of his life?"
Oh.
And it's just these mutton chops that he let go. And I mean, they were out here.
Holy cow.
But
That's a fun documentary, by the way. It's like a grimy look into what 90s music was, just the music industry in general.
Yeah, I think it's a fun like kind of gonzo documentary where they followed these bands for years and kind of the rise and the fall, and the Dandies are still doing well and touring together. And
never once was anybody that behind the film going, "Hey, you guys shouldn't be doing that."
No.
Those drugs.
No, music documentaries are honestly the most lawless. They're off the rails. It's not.
Yeah.
I mean, especially. I mean, I've seen some of the ones from the '60s and '70s, and I mean, no wonder they wrote such great music. I mean, they were not on this planet.
Oh yeah, they were so high on cocaine. They were just like, "I'm a god, and I'm gonna write whatever I want." And, like the Eagles documentary is nuts because they'd be like, he'd be like, "Yeah, man, he was fucking with me. He was trying to piss me off." And then they cut to the other guy, and he'd be like, "Yeah, I was fucking with him, trying to piss him off."
Pure chaos.
Yeah,
that one was everybody. I remember I watched a piece of that. You told me about it, where they're all talking at different times. They're just going, "Well, if he would have shut up and let me do this, we would still be rocking." And everyone's just like, "Well, if you would have let me solo."
Well, yeah, there's times in these, like, when these bands are playing where the other good, like, where they have 2 or 3 guitar players and it's the guy's turn to solo and the other guy will just, like, start playing the fucking solo before him. Like he'll know when he's supposed to come in and he'll just beat him to it and take the solo. And the other guy's like, "What the fuck, man? That's my fucking solo."
You're just looking at each other and you go, "What are you doing?" He's going,
and he's like, "Not anymore, bitch. It's mine now. I took
we
it.
are fist fighting after this jam."
I mean, there's like times when they just walk over and hit him while he's doing the solo with their guitar.
I mean, we always. I feel like as comedians, it's like we look at that and it's so wild because we have a job where we are the band.
Right.
But if you made 5 of us go out on the road and do 92 dates together, I mean, I promise you, it would be a similar documentary by the end. But it's just such a different game. I mean, I couldn't have 5 different creative-minded, stubborn people. And so as a comedian, it took me, I kind of had to look at it through a different lens because I couldn't imagine. And I thought, you know what? If there was 5 of us, pure chaos.
So I came from a music background, and that's one of the reasons I fell in love with comedy. Was I was like, oh, I don't have to have anyone else in my band. I don't have to haul any shit around. And I get there, it's fucking ready to go.
Yep.
I have a notebook in my fucking pocket, and
I think there's I'm going to take the passive role and say there's a fine line between the two. Like the one thing that's nice is if you're band and everyone gets along creatively, you're hanging out with your friends the whole time, which is cool.
But
But
thing
as
with comedy, though,
it's true. But if you're a comic and you're on the road and you don't have the ability to grab who you want to come on the road with you and you're just meeting other people, that's fine. But there's a lot of alone time.
Yeah,
and there's unfortunately not every opener that every club gives you is exactly, the best situation. Because I don't have like this exact comic that I'm looking for, but sometimes you get put with some clubs and you're like, I should have brought somebody. I should have brought somebody. I didn't know he was going to juggle.
Well, and that's too, with the Denver mentality, you expect the person in front of you to kill.
Yeah. Right.
Which is not common everywhere. A lot of clubs, people are like, "Oh, we intentionally, the first person is not very good,
right?
So that your job is easier because you have a punchline on your joke, And they're like, "Holy shit, I haven't heard one of those yet."
Or you put somebody out there that just goes out and maybe the skill set is there, but they haven't left their town. So everything they're talking about is local reference, and they're destroying. And now the entire crowd is like, "Oh, that's my guy."
Yeah,
like he's us.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to apologize for my first 3 years of comedy here then, because that's all I did. But yeah, no, you're right, and I also.
But that's part of the learning curve.
Well, and it's so funny because how it turns. Now I'll be on the road. The opening guy is doing jokes about 2 streets over murdering, and I'm going, like, oh yeah, real smart writing, Skyler. And I used to do the exact same thing.
We all did.
Because you got to come in how you get in. When I first started writing, all I could write about was what I saw.
Yeah.
What was around me, which was Denver.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you can expand as your writing gets stronger and you learn how to do that. But yeah, that is how.
Yeah.
Here's an example I have. I was at a club this summer and I asked my openers to be semi-clean. Like if they want to cuss a little bit, they can. Just nothing too off the rails. Like if you mind, don't close on a rape joke if you don't mind, my man. Something like that. And my opening comic, his first joke as the host was about how he learned how to give a blowjob through Dairy Queen ice cream cones. And that kind of was like a different tone for my show.
Right.
And those are the things where I'm talking about where it's like maybe in a different room or a different setting that works for that host.
Right.
But they kind of ambushed me. I don't know who thought that was semi-clean because it was an act out as well. And we lost the clean and the semi.
Oh, I don't know if you lost the semi with everybody.
No, you're right.
You might have gained a couple.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those are the things and that's comedy. My job was to go up there, regroup the room, and I don't like bashing the guy before me, maybe a zinger or two.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's just
Sometimes you get forced into it.
You do.
Yeah. Well, man, if you think you can learn to suck dick from a Dairy Queen ice cream cone, you should try Dairy King.
But yeah, it's also like, thank God, like not. I don't think Wendy does this by any means, but there are clubs out in the rest of the country where they'll just forget. They're like, oh, fuck, I didn't have an opener. And then they just grab somebody, not thinking about how they're going to curate the show. Mm-hmm. And then, like, if someone looks at what you're doing and your fan base, and then they put that up front, that's completely different.
It is. It is. And here, you just reminded me of, I say this on stage sometimes to start off the show. And
Is it hello?
It's a great quote about comedy that I once heard that's so true. You get up there and you go, hey, how many people here know me? And usually if it's me on the road, not many. And I go, that's insane. You guys are insane to come to a comedy show where you don't know who's here.
Yeah.
I go, this is the only art in the world. Nobody does that with music. It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Nobody goes to a music venue, buys a ticket, sits in the third row and goes, hey, I hope it's jazz.
Yep.
Yep. But in comedy, they come and sit in the third row and they go, I hope it's jazz.
Yeah.
And it is the wildest thing. And not does it only sometimes make our job completely insane up there because we've got a room full of people that don't even know what they're looking for.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's just such
Or they've never even been.
Never even been.
Yeah.
It's just such a unique thing. It just, I heard somebody put it that way, and it's never made more sense, and nothing ever made more sense to me.
Yeah.
Because tons of times they're just there. I hope it's
so
jazz.
funny. I used to bring a different, similar mindset. I told a guy one time, I was like, here's the deal. If someone comes to a show, they watch me and then they get upset about it. That's not fair if you didn't do the research. Because if you'd done the research, you would have known what you were walking into. Mm-hmm. It's like, if you're my boss and I really want to do well, and then I was like, hey man, I just found out you like music, right? I got tickets this weekend for music. You want to go? And he's excited. You're in the front row. You don't know that he loves country western.
Exactly.
And you just brought him to ICP.
Exactly.
Now, when that's done, you're not getting a raise. You're getting a new job.
Exactly.
And if you go to a show and you don't know what you're going to see, that's like buying a lottery ticket and being pissed that you lost.
Right.
That is exactly. Right. That's the same thing.
But it will happen. I bet it happens at least 25% of the crowds most of the time. When you're just out there doing randos, you're like, you have any idea what you're here to see?
Oh, I mean, I was at great club, Kansas City Comedy Club, Dustin Kaufman's
Dustin's.
club. Yeah.
Yeah.
Met him through you. Great guy, great club. Had a wild event happen there. I was up on stage. We had all the openers go up. I get up there. I'm just introducing myself. I haven't even got into jokes yet. And an older black lady who was sitting by herself at the table to the left, she gets up in the middle of me talking and starts to walk out, and I couldn't let her go. I go, "Oh, you can't do that to me." I was like, you got to turn around and listen. I was like, I know you heard me. And you were like, no, my people fought a long time to get away from this son of a bitch. But I was like, you got to hear me out before you walk out, because I don't think me or this crowd are going to bounce back from a black lady walking out on this accent.
Right.
And it made her kind of chuckle, and she turned around and sat down, and she enjoyed the rest of the show.
Right.
But that was a lady that clearly, I didn't get to talk to her afterwards. She did not know what she was coming to see. Yeah. And when I came out, because I already talk pretty country, and y'all know, here's a cat out of the bag. I talk even more country on stage.
Yeah.
And she heard
Turn
me.
it up.
Yeah, I was like, hey, how y'all doing? My name's Derrick. And she was like, oh, shit. Oh, shit. And she got up immediately, and I was like, I am going to, and I knew to throw in a joke there to reel her back in, but that was the exact situation where she had no idea.
Yeah.
No, way to throw in a joke instead of just be like, sit the fuck down.
Yeah, wouldn't that have been weird? Wouldn't that have been weird? I'm a good one, okay?
Yeah.
No, yeah,
Service starts now.
because I knew what she was thinking, but yeah. And then,
Well, and that's, I mean, to be honest, like, I grew up in Kansas City. That is a hard divide a lot of the times.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be like, when I was coming up, it was Stanford's, and I can remember the way they would book those shows. Like, it was like, this is a country show, this is an urban show, this is a country show, this is an urban show. This is a guy from the 80s. It's not that funny, but he's going to pack my room. And here's an alt guy that we hope works.
Yeah.
You know,
His name's AJ Finney.
oh God, dude, the amount of
Hope you
times
like LSD.
the amount of times I've been on stage and like,
so
look, I've very few times in my career have I ever said something that has offended somebody where they've gotten mad and walked out. But Ryan Singer and I have had this conversation. I have weird walked people for sure.
That
Like,
is-
and I
that is
openly
special.
get it, but it hurts my feelings. I just want you to know that it hurts my feelings, but I get it. Like, when you walk out and then the club goes, "Were you not having a good time?" And then they go, "We just don't know what we don't get it." And I'm like, it's all right that you don't get it.
Yeah.
But do the research and don't come in the first place.
Yeah.
Because now I'm inside going, it's the last time.
Because if you haven't done psychedelics, you're probably not. No.
You know the weird thing about that, and you've been there, like when we've done shows in the middle of Kansas and like Springfield and shit like that, and I've still talked about all my stuff, all my like runs through psychedelics. I can still connect with those people that have never done it, just out of the pure like whimsy of the story, because the story is still like, shouldn't have done that.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and they have an idea of what it is in their mind too.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So, yeah. What a ride.
Yeah.
But
Do you like cranberries?
I think, yeah.
This is weird. I had a thing. We have a recipe.
Okay.
And if you like it, I will find a way we'll make this and
I was like, how is this a hippie question? When the fuck did the hippies take cranberries?
this is this
A lot of
guy.
UTIs having sex on dirt.
Yeah.
What?
You don't know what you can pick up in a
Goose
weird
have a
room-
song called
weird river.
Cranberries?
You ain't never been fingered in a creek. Not that I have. I just realized how that came out. But cranberry, you ever had cranberry relish?
No. But I would be interested in anything that was turned into a relish.
Dude, it's wild. I don't know what this was, but
Yeah.
this guy made it. He brought it to our
Put it on a
Friendsgiving.
hot dog?
No, it's just like it's a dessert, but
That's a
it's
fair
cranberries
question.
kind of blended up with a some sort of gelatin.
How do you think it would taste on a hot
But then
dog?
it has apple slices in it,
Oh, okay. I'm in
which
for
is
sure.
wild. So that apple gives it that crunch texture, and it's fucking
I
good.
am
dude. Real good.
crazy curious how that would taste on not a hot dog as much as like a sausage, like a chicken and apple sausage, like one
Yeah.
of those.
Oh,
With
dude.
like a little rosemary.
Yes, that's exactly.
I hope that I wasn't
Yeah.
supposed to put it on the turkey. And that might have been why they were looking at me weird. I was like, "This shit is good." And they're like, he's going to town on the
Yeah,
garnish.
yeah.
That boy's special.
That's for turkey. I would think.
Yeah,
I don't-
But no, it was a giant bowl of like a dessert.
Oh, wow.
So it is. But he called it it's his mom's recipe.
I like the idea that it was just a side, and it's like it'd be like somebody coming over and just eating
butter.
ranch.
This shit's good. I don't know why they
and
waste
call
putting it
it
on
soup.
stuff.
Yeah, this soup's great.
My God, this is good soup. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just kidding. No one I've talked to have had it. I think there's walnuts in it too. It just adds a weird texture.
Everything
to
you've
it.
said, I love all those things.
Yeah.
I love apples, walnuts, anything. I like nuts. Like in just if I can have nuts in bread, chocolate, anything, I'm down.
I just went hard on a dehydrator.
I was gonna say. Speaking of love, Derek, you said you love. How do you feel about free love?
Free love? I don't even know
You go
about
down to
that.
Colfax, you don't have to pay for it no more.
Oh.
No.
That's pretty wild. I did just watch a documentary called Love One or something like that. Have you guys seen that?
Oh,
It's
wait.
about a cult in Colorado.
No. It's the one in Crestone. Marciana, it's a 3-part series.
Yeah.
Marciana and I looked at going down to Crestone because it's a wild place. We haven't watched it yet.
Oh,
Good?
Wow. Fantastic. Everybody watch it. It's bonkers, and that's what I'll say.
That woman, so I know the story because they kept her and refused to remove her. Like she would turn blue.
Wasn't she like their space god or something?
Yeah, Mother God. Is
Mother
what they call
God,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. And she had a couple father
Love
gods.
wins. Love wins,
Love
right?
wins.
Was the name of the cult.
That's it. Yeah. I mean, yeah, really, yeah. I can't say a word without saying it. Y'all just watch it. It's unbelievable. It's right up there with Chimp Empire.
Yeah. But they
I don't know what chimp empire is, but I'm much more interested in that.
It's a documentary on Netflix that it is the most intense documentary. They follow 2 tribes of chimps in the jungle, and it's so intense. And they're so political how their tribes are ran. And
wait, does one have a red shirt and one have a blue shirt? Like, what's?
It's very similar.
Are you serious?
I mean, listen. They start off the documentary by telling you that chimps and humans have a 2% difference in DNA.
Gotcha.
And so that fucks up your brain, okay? Because then you watch the chimps and you go, wow, they're pretty smart, but 2%.
They're 98% Derrick.
Yeah.
I couldn't get over that.
How many sides does that chimp want?
I couldn't get over that. Okay, and so and here's what really makes it intense. They give all the chimps individual names. And so you know all the chimps. Like at one point, Abrams is in a fight, and I know Abrams. And if it was just a random chimp, it wouldn't have felt that way.
So they're in the jungle. They've not been contained.
No, there is nothing. They followed them for exactly, I think, 3 years. So, and but the politics are nuts inside of a
So
tribe.
this is something I didn't know. So I didn't realize that chimps tribed off.
Yeah.
Or now they have their own little community.
And they've actually found too that they use organized military tactics to combat other tribes, and they like listen. They have like listening outposts where they have people listening, and then they rally the troops, and then they use like shows of force to try to like stave off aggression, and like there's all kinds of
that bothers me because chimps are so fucking strong.
They're the strongest. They're beyond strong, but also Zach's 100% right about how they operate. Which they're like flanking tribes.
Whoa!
They're like sending decoys and coming on the backside. And what's even more, without giving anything away, it's so intense. Y'all have to watch it. The leader of the group, Jackson. I'm serious.
I love that you are so involved in this.
I'm serious.
Well, the other way they got Derrick too is they're like, we're gonna give him Southern names.
Ricky was getting his ass beat.
Yeah.
And then Jackson came in.
Jackson.
Well, that's why he's fucking with Teresa.
Cindy's a whore, Jackson. No, but seriously, Jackson's the leader, and you get into just these such intense situations where they're literally at war, and chimps kill each other.
Yeah.
They don't mess around. They don't just hit each other. They try to pound each other's heads into the ground.
Gotcha.
Okay, it's very vicious. And the leader, Jackson, has to go out and whoop a few dudes' ass to set the tone. Like, he has to go
Dude, that's
out.
prison rules.
Yes, he goes out by himself, and they know this is big dog. They try to jump him, and he has to destroy these chimps to keep the order, and it doesn't go that way every time. It's insanity.
Wow.
It's insanity.
And what's it called again?
Chimp Empire.
Chimp Empire.
Not to be confused with Chimpire.
They missed a great opportunity. I did this Chimp Empire thing. I tried to do it as a bit the next day, the day after I saw it. And unfortunately, I was the only one that had seen the documentary. I mean, they were with me because they could tell I was excited, but nobody had a clue. An unbelievable documentary.
They're like, this guy's going to be selling Jackson Chimp shirts by 2025.
No, but
Somebody left that night and was like, we don't know what the fuck this guy's talking about with all these goddamn monkeys.
Why are you guys leaving? We just don't understand what he's talking about.
there's some Southern guy out there. I think he's mad about the chimps.
He loves Planet of the Apes is what we think.
Oh, man.
So, free love.
Free love.
So are you talking about like the summer of love, the 60s and stuff like that? Or are you talking about polyamory?
I felt like it's something that's commonly associated with hippies.
Yeah.
That's a question we've never asked before. So I was like, and I've thought, I don't know, Derrick might have something funny to say about this. But
Unfortunately, I don't know exactly the definition if it's used as free love. I don't know. Is that just kind of like polyamorous? Like you can just...
Yeah, I think it'd be open relationships for the most part.
Yeah, I think it's not adhering to any societal norms as far as relationships and love go to an extent.
Okay, well, I would have some thoughts on that because I have seen it. And it works for less people than it works for. Like the numbers I don't think are great when I see open relationships. I see like fighting a good bit. I've seen it several times on another partner sleeping with another person, or there's always this kind of spinning turmoil on trying to be in the same place at the same time.
I used to do a bit about it's like, maybe before you try having more than one relationship, you should try to have one good relationship.
Yeah.
Because, man, one is hard. If you can do that, then maybe expand. But
it's just I think a kind of a cool hip way to do whatever you want.
Could you do it?
No, I like the love from like my partner and that like it being exclusive and like that's all powerful. To me, I like to know that like my body is her body is my body, and like not like there's going to be somebody out there that's going to be like, oh, you like to own somebody, bro. No, it's just that intertwining kind of love where we are each other. You know.
Well, it's also like I don't know. As much as I like to consider myself a hippie, I don't think polyamory would ever work for me. I get too in my own head about, well, what's that guy doing?
Yeah.
And then that's this weird thing where it's like, oh, well, you made a noise that you made with him that you don't make that with me. And fuck, I already have fucking issues.
Yeah. Let's just add another insecurity.
Well, that room, the humidity in the room was much more when you guys came out. It's pretty arid when I'm in there. What's going on?
So it would your ego is why you couldn't do it.
I think, ego.
I think Derrick's reason is much more beautiful.
Well, no, I didn't say. I didn't say that it was
You're
right
like,
or
I'd be
wrong.
worried he's fucking her better than me.
Well, yeah.
I think that's a very honest response.
I'm just being honest about that aspect. I mean, and then I don't think I could do it.
Yeah.
I think what happens is there's going to turn into jealousy, and then I think it's just going to spin out of control. I've never understood how
jealousy.
It could work.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's been, if you've ever watched any documentary on like communal living, it usually spirals that way. Which the idea of communal living or tribal living is cool, where it's like no one even really understands who the parents are.
Yeah.
Like it's just a baby is born and the whole tribe takes care of it. It's cool, but in reality, I just don't think it works.
I'm like, yeah, that's cool. Unless, I don't know. I don't want to take care of somebody else's baby. I don't.
Right.
Fuck. There's a reason I don't have no babies. Because I don't want to take care of no babies.
No, I agree. That's got to be a tough road to hoe. I've seen like problems with it, like personally, like in a like in a night, like a girl's like, I'm in an open relationship. My buddy bangs her. Well, he goes to hang out with her the next night, and she can't hang out because her partner, who's 3 states away, because they're at the beach, is devastated. And I mean, that's just how that goes. Why would it not go that way? How could you have normal emotions and somebody call you and go, hey, I'm down at the beach, had sex with some guy, it was great, but you're still my boo. I'll be home in 3 days. Whoa.
It's that whole thing of like emotionally, you're right. It's got to be devastating unless both people, so both people are like, hey, we're both gonna fuck these people.
Yeah.
Like maybe that makes sense because there's an equality. But if you're on vacation and she's like, I'm going to the beach to kind of hang out with this dude because I want to see what it's like, and then you're like, well, I'm gonna go to the hotel and
I think where
things
usually fall apart is that one person always gets a lot more ass, than the other person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's usually going to be the woman, I would assume. I could crunch some numbers. I bet they're doing pretty good.
You got to be hanging hog to be beating those numbers.
Well, what I was going to say is there's probably some numbers we don't know about that could be crunched that the guys that really love this stuff are hanging hog.
Yeah.
I mean, the people that you would think, I don't think some guy with a tiny pecker's like, more people need this.
Yeah.
No, again,
I want my lady to have more big dicks bigger than mine.
I already explained how jealous I was going to get without saying.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, that would definitely be part of the thought process.
Maybe.
So you guys are saying neither of you are hanging hog.
Not hanging hog like, hey, go bang whoever you want and then come back and I'll still be the biggest. She's probably going to find...
Yeah, not trophy. Not trophy size hog.
Dude, it's December.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, maybe it would work. I didn't think about this, but maybe people that swing both ways, maybe that makes more sense for that type of situation where you're like, you're still going to have your heart hurt a little bit when someone loves someone potentially more, or you get in your head about how much time they're spending with another person.
I've seen it work for a while for people, but the longer, I don't know if I've seen really any any relationships like that work longer than a decade.
Yeah. Well, also, okay, so we're all in
I
relationships.
mean, other than my grandparents.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. They're so kidding.
That's so funny.
But like relationships in general, just a monogamous relationship has problems at points. So then imagine getting into an argument and one person just going, well, then I'm going to go out with Steve.
Yeah, I mean, if you do have another person to go have sex with when another person is mad at you,
I feel like that could
is
really
not fair. Right. That is not fair.
Right.
yeah, you're like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Well, she did this fucked up thing to me, and I told her how it hurt my feelings, and then she just went and fucked Steve.
there's no way you're going to be a normal person.
Right. Derrick, do you go to like live music events or festivals or anything like that, or?
I don't go to many concerts. I mean, I don't have much time, but I mean, I've been to them over the years, and it was definitely more of like the country scene.
Okay.
But yeah, and I've been to a festival, and it was a country music festival. Do
you find it impactful at all when you're there watching it, or is it just you can take it or leave it?
Yeah, I mean, when you're there and you're in the crowd and you're watching particularly a band or a guy or a girl that's singing that you particularly like, there is a feeling of like a team.
Yeah,
this is our person. This is, and there's only there's just a few bands or people that I would feel that way about. I mean, to me, one of the best concerts I ever went to, and people are going to fall out, was Leonard Skinner and Three Doors Down in 2005. And
I saw what was left of Leonard Skinner a couple of times.
Yeah, and but hey, let me tell you something. If you've never seen Kryptonite sang in person, you've never drank a tall white monster.
Yeah.
So I mean, musically, I listen to a lot of different music and I enjoy it. I've just never really dove into it. I'm more of a live sporting events type guy.
I remember I think I saw Skinner twice when I was younger, and every time they were encoring with Freebird.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be.
But God, Tuesday's Gone and Simple Man. I mean, they're loaded with hits.
Oh yeah, give me 3 steps.
I saw one of his cousins, because one of his other Xants will tour and play the songs, and there was one that came through. Gosh, it was called Hiccups, and. This place, my buddy and I, we used to drink there when we were 21. On Thursdays, they had free beer.
Whoa.
Okay.
You just had to tip. But free beer for 4 hours. And but this place had the biggest goddamn tree trunk fucking bouncers ever. And my buddy and I, we had kind of gotten to know them just being shits around there. They'd kick us out fairly often, but it's it's fun. And but they came and dude, we just kept yelling Freebird and Yimmy, just the worst shit that you could. We were those fucks, dude. And the guy fucking lost it, and he's like, "What the fuck? Get these guys the fuck out of here!" And then the bouncer came to kick us out, and he was a big guy, and we were drinking out of plastic pitchers or whatever. And they came, and he's like, "You guys got to go." And my buddy's like, "Oh yeah, you want to dance?" And then he smashed his. He smashed his pitcher and held up just the handle of the pitcher at the guy, and he just. Dude, the guy just busted out laughing, and he's like, "All right, come on, let's go."
That is so great.
Well, who was it? It was one of the Skinner boys that did 38 Special, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was Jimmy Van Zant was who was singing when I saw them at Hiccups on a Thursday or Sunday or whatever the fuck it was called. Yeah. But
Hiccups is a great name.
Yeah.
Free beer on
Beats
Thursdays.
Oopsie Daisies.
Yeah.
Yeah, there used to be some crazy drink specials that I really think my buddy and I kind of helped ruin.
Way back in the day in Kansas City at Stanford's, and Sam Talent can talk about this because I know he was there for one of them, was Wednesday, Thursday used to be free beer night. So when people came in, it was all the keg beer you could drink until the show was over. And there were times where people would stick their head in and you'd look over on the stage and they go, "Cut it short, we're out of beer. These people will lose their mind." And just red Solo cups just arcing.
Yeah.
So when I first started comedy, I was running a bar and there was no place around me that did comedy, so I'd put myself up. And one trick I learned to get an audience is I did penny pitchers. So, and we never did that special at our bar ever. But when I would perform, I'd do penny pitchers, and about sell out the damn place. And nobody had to buy a ticket or anything. But penny pitchers is the same thing as free beer, essentially.
Yeah.
I mean, same thing. But yeah, I used that trick to make people watch me do comedy when I first started. Worked every time.
Yeah. Just slamming pitchers, whether throwing copper.
I mean, these people, my buddies, and just when they'd never really seen comedy done in person, it was just all country music at this bar. So it was funny. They'd be trying to talk to me while I was up there. I mean, I'd just be trying
You're
to do
doing good,
Yeah,
Derrick.
yeah.
I'm in the middle of something.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, Gary is like that. He is like that. That's funny. And I'm like, golly. I didn't know what I was doing either, but yeah. Penny Pitchers was, and then we did another thing. This had nothing to do with comedy, but when I ran the bar, one of my favorite specials that I came up with was called $3 You Call It. And I got that from a bar in Mississippi. At Mississippi State University, there was a place that did it, but you could get anything for an hour for $3. You want a Patron shot, you want $3 You Call It, which is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few places that used to do that. Some of them were chains, actually. Gosh, what was the one chain called that used to do the You Call It?
Was it Log?
Log?
Was it a log chain?
I was like, what?
No. Fucking, God damn it. But yeah, there's the sports column used to do $1 You Call It.
Sheesh.
And my buddy and I, we would get triples.
No.
So we'd get, yeah, we'd get,
Into this day before the sun goes down.
Oh my
and it wasn't like, it was like you call it within reason, like you couldn't go up to the top shelf, but Jack Daniels was like the best whiskey you could get, so we'd get triples. So yeah, it was like 9 shots of whiskey in 3 glasses each for, and yeah, that didn't last long.
Yeah.
We ruined that. We went back, we got kicked out of there a few times, and then we went back and they're like, yeah, new rule, 1 drink per person, singles only, and we're like, no triples?
No triples.
There was a Mexican restaurant in Cody, Wyoming that had a margarita. There were 3 different types, and I think one was called the Mexican, and it was so strong they could legally only sell you 3.
Yeah.
And so what my buddy Bill and I would do is we would each get 3, and then we get someone at the table to get a pitcher, which was roughly a little over 3. And then when they caught you, because I mean, when you were
When they caught you, it's because you were falling.
dude, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've very rarely been waylaid like that. Yeah. Like, I was halfway through that third one. I was like, dude, I don't know how we're driving. He's like, it's just going to be magic.
Oh, man. I remember those driving home needing some magic.
Oh, yeah.
What's your, speaking of magic, what's your zodiac?
Sagittarius, man. We're in
right now.
We're right now.
You're in it.
Yeah. When's your birthday? Coming up?
In 5 days. Yeah.
5 days. Nice.
December 10th.
Yeah, get ready for that greeting.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, AJ will be sending you a message.
yeah, man. Oh, he's pretty famous for that. He could probably really throw some people off if he just didn't do it.
If I was just like, happy birthday, and you're like, I don't think he likes me
Yeah,
anymore.
oh man, they would be completely crushed.
Yeah.
I don't really follow the zodiac sign stuff that much. I know all about my sign, and it is pretty darn accurate in a lot of ways, just for what Sagittarius, how they are, But it's funny when you meet people who are really into it, and they do have a little bit of a read on you, but they just tell you, like, I met Caroline Ray for the first time like a couple months ago. Real sweet lady, super funny, but she's super into it.
Yeah. Okay,
and she first met me, she asked me my sign right after my name. And I said Sagittarius, and Caroline went, fire, fire, fire. She goes, nobody knows how to take you. You got a big heart, and you're the most likely to cheat. Nice to meet you, Derrick. I promise.
She called you a cheater in her intro to you?
She said, most likely to cheat is what she said.
Wow.
But she's, all with a smile on her face. But yeah, it's funny how, because people, when they really know about signs, they'd rather hear that beside your name. Your name doesn't matter. What's your sign? That'll tell me more about you than you being Chris. He's Chris too, but he's a Scorpio. I'm not worried about him. You might be a Cancer,
Yeah.
Sorry, I've had a history with cancers.
Yeah.
You know what? I think fucking everybody has.
Man, I dated one for 8 years, and I'm.
You won your battle with cancer.
Oh man, I don't think I
You
won.
beat cancer.
I don't think, I'm on dialysis because of
I don't
her.
think you want to say he beat cancer.
Exactly.
You didn't beat cancer.
No, cancer for sure beat me.
Do you like camping? You're an outdoors guy?
I grew up doing a whole lot of camping. What people would call like roughing it or whatever. I was the only type of camping that I do. My father took us probably 5 or 6 times a year. We, set up the tent, set up the fire. We do it right on the bank of the river or the lake because he'd tie his boat up. And I mean, we did the whole thing.
You put bank lines and fish. And...
I was just about to say we ran trot lines and we'd go check them in the morning and at night, and we would fish all day. And, just really a core part of my childhood. And I didn't really do it as much as an adult. Before I moved to Colorado, I was really into kayaking.
Really?
Went to college for, recreation. So like kayaking was like my favorite. Not the kayaking that people do
you said
out
you
here.
went to college for recreation?
Yeah. We got a recreation degree with a minor in business.
Okay.
What the fuck? That's a real degree?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Just
for sure.
recreation?
Well, community rec.
But
there's like
so you like
different-
playing out the rec? It's not
Yeah,
just
there's
like
like-
it's not
there's
just like gym class.
Well, I mean, I promise you, I had a class in college where we did freeze tag, duck, duck, goose, and we learned how to respect people's space and how to talk to people. And
That sounds like where I was going to go to school. I was going to go to Naropa.
As I get older, guys, y'all listen to me. I'm so worried. The more people I tell this, that I was not in normal college classes. I'm pretty fucking scared of that.
I'm like, man.
I just like the fact that Goose came back into the
They
conversation.
gave us orange slices. Did y'all not have this?
Yeah, did you play with the parachute?
Oh shit! I did. I swear. We had the parachute, and you'd have to like. Oh no!
What was I paying?
Did your college have the word elementary in its title?
What do you want to be when you graduate?
I'm
a kayaker.
Oh, one of my
Yes, you are.
Yeah. Well, one of my classes is we went to we did tennis for the Special Olympics, and I look back and I hope I was a coach, but they let me play a lot. I played a lot. Oh God. But yeah, that's really it. So, anyways, the different type of kayaking, like not with like the helmets and rapids. I went to college with Holly Reppert. She's a good friend of mine. She's like a USA team. Rapids.
rower.
Yes. But we all had kayaks, and we would cruise and fish, stop on the bank, camp for a little bit, and I had 2 kayaks before I moved to Colorado.
So I'm assuming they were sit on tops.
Sit on tops.
Okay.
I mean, I got them from like Academy Sports. I wish I could remember more about them. It's been about 10 years now, but
Is that the college you went to?
No. Yeah. Jacksonville State is where I went.
Oh wow, you were in Florida.
No, Jacksonville, Alabama. A lot of people think so. Yeah.
He's like, hold on.
Yeah, it wasn't nearly that cool. I was in a town of 7,000 people playing Duck, Duck, Goose, which is just so wild to look back on. But yeah, so I've always liked the outdoors and especially like the kayaking, the boating. My dad had a boat my whole childhood.
Okay.
And we grew up, skiing and fishing. So I love that.
Water sports, but you're not much of a hiker.
No, I've not much of a.
Yeah, you have a bit talking shit
Yeah.
about hiking, right?
I do,
Yeah,
for sure. Which
What about hunting?
Yeah, I like hunting. I like fishing way more. Like I'd be more of like a bird hunter. I like to hunt stuff like where Zach's from, like pheasant and quail, and that's something that I like to watch a dog work. I don't really like. I'm not the type of person to sit in a deer stand and hope a deer fucking walks by for 9 hours.
Yeah.
My dad and my brother, big time outdoorsmen, but.
There's something about killing a mammal that's just a little harder for me too than like a.
Yeah. You got to send Jackson in.
It's like, oh, that thing sucked on a titty too.
Yeah.
As a baby.
No, I mean I agree with that. I mean sometimes guys where I'm from would never say something like that. I mean I've never killed a deer. I could kill a deer. I'd rather not. It's not.
It's a lot of guts and gutting, and there's just a lot more shit to it too.
You know what?
Like,
yeah. It is wild. I got a buddy my buddy Bill in Wyoming. He is a hunter. If the world ever went to shit, I'd go up there because that dude can survive off nothing. But he finally figured out a way how to skin it, never opening up the belly to spill the guts. And he goes, then I just get it out there. The bears will take care of the rest. But my thing is, I don't know if I can kill. I don't think I could kill something and not get overly emotional about it and then feel bad about like, fuck, I hope none of this meat goes bad. Like I did that with. I grew mushrooms, and in the process of them growing, I thought I fucked them up, and I was like, well, I just put something in here to kill it. Someone else could have gotten it and actually fruited it and made it live. Mm-hmm. So,
that you need to chill the fuck out. It's mushrooms in a bag. They're fungus, dude.
Yeah, but it's still just like
don't beat yourself up over that.
No, I got a pretty good yield, but it's the idea of just like killing something. Like that's the idea of like just and not being able to utilize whatever it is that I did. You know, like so if I kill a deer and I'm not going to be able to utilize all of it, I think I'm going to have a traumatic remorse.
So guns or flowers?
Guns or flowers?
What a transition.
Now here's where it might go off the rails. If you think you've got me nailed, I mean, I don't mind you talking about if I have a gun in my home. I don't think that people should have automatic weapons or be carrying them everywhere, but I keep a gun in my home. I'm not against guns on a small scale self-protection level, but not like we were talking about with. Go ahead.
So this question has surprised the shit out of me. I'm going to tell you some comics and what their answers were after you answer.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
no. That I didn't know if that's what you were asking, or maybe it's fun to throw out those two words and see where people go.
That's so. A lot of these rapid fire questions are just like less of a deep dive and more just like this is what I think.
Yeah, because my immediate thought is I do believe in self-protection, not automatic weapons. But yeah, I think that people having guns that have 100 rounds attached to them, that should be the first sign that they need medical attention.
That's interesting, Derrick.
Yeah, it's kind of more just like so somebody who really Troy Walker chose guns over flowers because he was just like guns are more fun.
Yeah.
That is not the response I would have expected.
Right.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Most people go guns.
Yeah.
Over flowers. And me, I'm like, I don't know. Flowers are fucking awesome, and they make all the food I eat. And like my brain goes more down that. Just like we need kind of flowers to live. But yeah. So it's not.
That's a great. I love that you kind of spring that, because then it's just immediately what somebody's mind is. I mean, I immediately gave my stance on guns. Just immediately. I was like, this is what I think.
Well, and what you think is what most Americans think.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know. I think that would be maybe a place to start.
There are definitely a few that when you walk into someone's basement and you look around and you go, this looks like you're decorating your house with weapons.
Oh, I can tell you, I spent Thanksgiving with my fiance in Kansas, and her dad had to run next door.
I didn't know she was from Kansas.
Yeah, she's from Iola. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, a town of about 3,000 people. But
what's the town? Does the town have a slogan?
There is nothing in Iola except like 2 restaurants. Like, it's one of those places where you wonder what everybody does.
Yeah, I feel like they'd just be like Iola. Why not Iola or something, or why
Holy Iola?
Yeah.
No, it's quiet for sure. But yeah, her dad, he went next door to help the neighbor out, and when he came back, we were like, "What'd you need to help him with?" And he said, "Well, I had to help him bring a gun safe into his house." He said it's his 11th one.
11th gun safe.
11th gun safe.
I mean, there's a guy.
That seems unsafe.
Well, I'll be honest. I can't make this up. The next sentence he said after that is, he just doesn't really like the police that much. I was like, yeah, well, I guess, okay.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
Imagine having that many gun safes, right? And then something does go down. And then you're like, fuck, was this the code for this one or that one? And you're just trying to punch in codes.
And you can only use one.
One of my buddies growing up, his brother was like a sniper in the Marines or something, and he came back, and I think he got out of the service. But what he did, like when we'd be over there playing guitar or something or hanging out, and his brother would just get home from work at 5, and he would chop wood by hand for 3 hours.
Yeah,
and then he would go to bed, get up, go to work, come home, and chop wood for 3 hours by hand, and that's just what he did. But like, it's
the way of the Buddha.
Yeah, where I was just like, this guy's like some crazy, like he's done some crazy shit. Like this guy has like a different kind of level of discipline, but he like brought a bunch of things home, but they didn't have a safe. They like actually installed like jail like a jail cell in their basement, and instead of a safe, they had just like a whole fucking room full of fucking shit. And
that's Jason Statham shit.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, and
But also, I think like a sniper or anybody that's done something like that, you're coming home and you're just working. Chances are you got stuff that, one, you can't talk about, and two, you might not be able to deal with, and you're just trying to figure out how to get past it.
yeah, I mean, I always just thought it was like kind of like some Jason Bourne shit. Like, what does Jason Bourne do when he goes to visit his parents? He just fucking chops wood. Like, that's all he fucking does, you know. But
That is the guy that lived next door to Marciana's parents' house. He was a fucking tunnel rat in Vietnam. And I mean, the guy, he was nice, but dude, he was weird. I mean, he would just sometimes get a little drunk and go, yeah, kill people. I mean, you couldn't use a gun because it would fire off everything. He would sneak up on people and just fucking. Yeah. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ. Yeah. My grandfather in the Second World War had he hid under Hitler's Hill, and the fucking Nazis were bayoneting. He took a bayonet in the arm and had to stay there for like 3 days. And I'm just like, these are different levels of people than where, like I am now.
I mean, my great uncle, he was a Seabee, and in Vietnam, the Seabees were attacked like more than anybody in the military because they're the construction workers. And they were building bridges over waters and swamps for the Navy,
right.
So we could move throughout the jungles.
Yeah.
And so then they just started killing these Seabees.
Yeah, you knock them out, you got no infrastructure.
You got nothing. And so he has a terrible story about where him and his platoon, they went out onto a mission to build, and they came back, and the other 36 guys, part of his group, they were all on their back. They had all been executed. And he had to stay in the swamp for like another 2 weeks, him and the other guys. And he has scars all over his arms and his leg. Huh?
From the bugs?
From leeches. Yeah. He has scars all over. So when he got back, everybody said he was pretty normal and everything was cool. But he had this buck knife that was about this long that he kept in his boot. And he only killed one man, and he killed that man with this knife. And when my Uncle John was inside of a grocery store in Big Chimney, West Virginia, somebody broke into his truck. And they took that knife, and I mean, he lost his mind.
Oh, I bet.
And he hasn't been exactly the same since. He's just pretty quiet. He's not like a off the rails weirdo, but he was a really outgoing guy. And just that knife, where he killed that one man with that knife, he has been fucked up ever since.
What's that one thing that probably tethered him back to like, I have to keep a hold of this to remember what I did?
Yeah, well, probably it saved his life. You know.
Yeah.
I would assume a CB's not a very armed military guy.
Right.
You know, because
you probably have a pistol or something because, Well, I mean, I think everybody has a rifle.
Not taking out too many people with a nail gun.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, shit, do you care if I leave that story in?
Yeah.
About the knife and everything?
Yeah, absolutely.
No, it's crazy when people steal things. I don't think a lot of times they think about that what you're taking could be much more than an object to a person.
No, I think when and I don't know, but I think when people steal, it's either for the excitement of the stealing or it's desperation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you know, you're trying to get to a means of something.
Yeah, and he probably thought, "Oh, look that's a cool looking knife." You know, I'm sure.
Well, and that knife is probably somewhere, and little does the person know, like this knife fucking killed a motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly.
What if that knife is haunting him?
Yeah. Well, and there's something different about, there's something I think a lot more personal about killing somebody with a knife.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Versus a gun.
Because that person was obviously an arm length away.
Yeah, 100%.
You smelled that person. That blood probably got all over you from fucking stabbing them.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing with hunting. When
you heard the rattle.
When you go to skin the animal or whatever, you've got to knife it. Or with fish.
Yeah. You know, I don't know if there's a guy that's like really trending big time. His name is Cameron Haynes, and he's like going the opposite direction. He's made like bow hunting like kind of a spiritual type thing for a lot of followers. I don't know if you've seen him. He believes in like this like optimal health and like working out. Like he does this run, lift, shoot, but it's all about archery and like it's just he's kind of brought like this spiritual level to killing the animal, the respect for the animal, and it's a little broy, but it's also if you're gonna kill these animals, he has the right approach and how respectful you should be, how you should use that animal. It's an interesting take on it too, and he does things like all natural, like he carries the deer out on his back, like he believes you should earn every inch of this kill. So he doesn't put it on a motorized vehicle. He gets under it. This huge animal, puts it on his shoulders and walks it out of the woods. And that's part of the journey and part of the, it's really interesting.
Yeah, I'll be honest, like I can get behind that. I think it's cool, but I also think that you're building a standard. I
eat red meat all the time where they just walk up to the cow with a gun and go bam in its forehead and chop it up and I eat the shit out of it. So it's like, I don't know. Like I feel like a huge hypocrite anytime I try to talk shit about anything like that. And I've also just always felt like a bitch for not killing my own food, but like, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm definitely on the side of, I told you my diet's leaning towards more carnivore. I love steak.
Yeah,
dude, elk is so good.
Elk is unbelievable. But yeah, I'm with you. But yeah,
have you had moose?
I haven't had moose.
Dude, moose is
I
good.
haven't either, and I've heard it's like some of the best meat.
I had some moose knuckle my sophomore year of college.
If I can get a hold of this, I will get both of you some moose dials. Like my buddy Bill just killed a black moose.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is he a cop?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Why is that moose in a hoodie?
Well, that reminds me of Derrick's joke or whatever about Derrick Rush about the elk in Boulder.
Yeah. Because
he's like, I told him I'm an elk because a cop will get in trouble for shooting an elk in Boulder.
That's hilarious. No, I'm a damn elk.
Yeah, we should get Rush on here. He'd be fun to talk to.
What about sandals, Derrick? You got slides or anything like that?
Yeah, man, I'm a Birkenstock guy from way back.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, I love Birkenstocks.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't wear like the clog ones. I do have a good bit of Dutch in me, but I'm not trying to show my cards. But
yeah, not walking around like a Vanderplug or anything.
My Dutch brother. Yeah. Oh man.
Okay.
But yeah, I do like Birkenstocks. I'm all about sandals, slides. I don't like the thong, the split the toe ones.
Okay.
Just because it just that feels out of control.
Yeah, it's a weird.
I don't
feeling.
like things in between my toes because when I take them out, it's like I have phantom flop. I call it.
Yeah.
Where I still feel like there's a thing in between my toes, even though there's nothing there.
Yeah.
Well, I think. Do you have any rapid fire questions you want to do? I think
I got a couple.
We're at about an hour 15. So.
Do you own any tie dye?
No tie dye. That's probably where I would draw the line.
Okay.
It was about some tie dye. It's just not for me. I got lots of my buddies, like college friends and friends back home, that have a good bit of tie dye because I mentioned earlier, just that kind of country folks and that kind of hippie. They run real close to each other. Yeah. But no tie-dye.
Okay. I think I got it. At least I think I got an opinion.
Yeah. Before we figure out if you're a hippie or not, where can people find you, Derrick? What do you got coming up?
Derrick Yells is my Instagram. Then I've got a website at derrickstroopcomedy.com.
You got an album coming out soon, right?
I got an album coming out at the end of this month with Get Her Done Records.
That's great, dude.
Yeah, it's called Fourth Meal. And so
you're releasing that on vinyl too, right?
Yeah, I am, which is going to be really exciting. But yeah, just check out the website.
Can people pre-buy it?
Yeah, we'll have a pre-sale, which should start in about a week or so. I just got off a phone call earlier about all that, which it's been in the making for a long time. And just like, you guys have just released 2 great albums, and I saw that they were doing great, so I'm excited to join the bunch. And it's
let us know when the pre-sale comes out, and we'll throw it all over the pod for sure.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and check out Derrick's set on Late Night. It was fucking great.
Yeah, dude.
Thank y'all so much. Thanks for having me. I had a blast today.
Yeah,
I had a lot of fun.
No, man. I mean, other than finding out you might not have went to a real college, I think it's pretty good.
Is there anything funnier?
Yeah, and I'll be honest, Zach highly respect you. He put a button-down shirt on, and I think his zipper's up this time.
Yeah, I did.
Michael Isaacs, we got up to take a picture, then we realized afterwards he'd had his pants open the whole time.
Yep, just hanging out.
It was December.
All right, well,
right. Ready?
Yeah. 3, 2, 1, hippie. Yeah.
Whoa! I wasn't sure you were going. The Birkenstocks pushed me over.
2 kayaks is what did it for me.
Yeah.
It's like he had 2 kayaks?
Yeah.
Holy shit. But yeah, I think
Also,
there's
the Goose thing was a pretty good radar up front, but then the comparison of jam bands and the Allman Brothers and country music. You're also, I know that's a Boulder Comedy Show, but you're also wearing a Dead shirt.
Yeah.
Did you put that on for today?
For today.
Oh, my man.
Yeah.
He leaned
For
into it
you
hard.
guys. For you guys.
So, yeah. Well,
right.
thanks so much for coming on, Derrick. Check out his album. Follow him on Instagram at Derrick Yells. And, thanks for listening. Like, subscribe, and get on the motherfucking...